for doing that. But parents, we need you to start asking some questions in the chat box down at the bottom. We know this is new for many of you, so we'll give you a few seconds, but we're here for you right now. Questions that I have been asked this week that have been very helpful have to do mostly with how can I get my iPad? We had a deployment last week, but we know that wasn't always convenient for families. So I'm going to ask Mr. Nelson if you wouldn't mind putting the help desk ticket email in the chat. This is if you still need to pick up a school issued iPad with all of the apps on it that we want our kids to use, you need to just send an email to the student help desk and make arrangements to do a pickup sometime this week. We want iPads in the kids' hands before next week. But kindergarten, we have a few extra days with your appointments next week that we still can catch up. The first question, kindergarten team, what level of parent participation is required for kindergartners?
I can take that one. So I think that at the beginning, it is going to be necessary to have parents helping your child get familiar with some of the technology we're using. Our goal at the individual meetings and in those first few days is to really help support that. And we're going to be giving you some tips and tricks to make it so that your child can be more independent. But there will be some need for parents to support troubleshooting if an app isn't working, or maybe contacting us if you're confused about an assignment. But ideally, our goal is to help get the kids to be fairly independent as they can, so that they're able to access and feel empowered to access all of their learning each day.
And the next question is, can we get the QR codes or login IDs for Epic? Yes, and those will be emailed or sent out by the teachers in the coming days, as soon as we receive the QR codes and the teachers have them to share. And
I've got a question here. Who do we reach out to when we're having trouble logging into the apps?
Does anybody know the answer, or is that going to go to me? Ideally, you either call the help desk, the student help desk, or send an email. Mr. Nelson, if you have a moment, would you mind finding the phone number to put that in the chat? They're going to be your go-to person. Since the classroom teacher is busy instructing, teaching reading, writing, math, and working with individual kids, they can't necessarily stop what they're doing classroom-wise to help with login issues. But you can get support from the student help desk, and we do have our IT people working, and they started answering the phones this Tuesday to support students and families who are having login trouble.
Okay, we have our next question. If our student is at daycare, should we try to have their daycare teachers log on to the individual meeting with the kinder teacher? Or is it okay if the student logs in by themselves for that initial meeting on 9/14 or 9/15 if parents are not available?
My recommendation, teachers, please help me answer this one, would be whatever support the kindergartner needs to log in and have that appointment. Your individual consultations on Monday or Tuesday are to get for your child to get familiar with their new classroom teacher, to have a conversation, get to know each other a little bit. You'll probably talk about what you like and what you don't like. I'm sure the teacher has some interview questions ready to go. And also it's to check that the technology is working properly. So we sort of want the kids to have some productive struggle with logging in and making a connection with their teacher and navigating on the screen. Teachers, did you want to add anything to that?
Kindy teachers, would you mind just really briefly talking about what next week looks like? Because I know you referenced it in your video in terms of when half the kids are coming one day and the other half the other. Can you just touch upon that real quick?
Yeah, so Monday and Tuesday will be the individual meetings, and you should be getting a link to sign up for a time to meet with your teacher. And then Wednesday, I believe, I don't know if I remember what Wednesday looks like. No one wants to jump in with that, but Thursday, Friday will be half the classes. But so if your last name is A through L, you will be coming to our live Zoom session. And then if your last name is M through Z, you'll be coming on Friday to the live Zoom session. And then we'll be sending out a schedule of what that might look like in the coming days.
Okay, we have our next question. Can kids get some books to read from school, to read at home?
I'll answer that one if you don't mind me jumping in. Yes, Miss Cartmill is our library media assistant, and she's presently working on a plan to do some sort of request for books. Parents and students have access to what we have in our library on home. There is a database. I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but you can get to it through the Elmonica webpage to take a look at what books we have available. She is going to put together some sort of request system so that parents can come and pick up books that they've checked out from the library on a rotating schedule. And I also recently just found out that our school bus drivers are more than willing to put together some routes for book drop-offs. So we might have some book bus stops in the future. Like I said, we're just planning all of this right now. We don't know exactly what it will look like, but we are going to do our very best to make sure that every book that we have available in our library is accessible to our students.
And then I can jump in. I also have here a crate of books that we will be handing out on Saturday when you get to come meet your teacher. And then in addition, if your student has some interests or favorite books or series, be sure to let his or her teacher know, and we'll make a note of that. Okay, should we go to the next question?
Sure, I lost track of which one is the next one. Go ahead, Ms. Hastings.
The two of them are pretty similar. What is the schedule and how many hours per day should the kids attend online and offline classes?
So we are still working on developing the schedule, and it will change because obviously this is going to be new for them and new for us, and their attention spans and stamina aren't going to be the same as they will be later into the year. So we're going to start with every morning from 8:30 to 9, there will be a whole class meeting where every student is expected to join just to start the day together. And then from there, we will have small group meetings where kids will be meeting in groups of 5 or 6 for some kind of more structured academic work. And then when they're not meeting in a small group with us, there will also be activities for them to do on Seesaw or on Dreambox or some of the reading apps. But we don't want to have them, at least in the beginning, on Zoom from 8:30 in the morning until 2:30. That would just be too much for our little ones. So the schedule, we're going to start off a little bit softer, a little less time on Zoom, and then build up as their stamina gets stronger.
We should also mention that there'll be some breaks that the teachers will take intentionally. There's always a lunch hour from 11 until 12. So no student, no teacher, everyone powers down or shuts off for that time to take a break and to have lunch. And there's also specials rotation. So there is a part of the day where the teachers will be where the students will actually go to a different class. It'll either be PE or music. And Miss Heatherly, do you by any chance want to say anything about music and what that is going to look like for our kindergarten students?
Sure. I can speak a little bit specifically as well. I know Miss Dodson's class will meet on Monday from noon to 12:30. So it's a 30-minute class, and that will be a live Zoom class with me. Miss Burke's, do I have this right? Miss Burke's class will be on Tuesday from noon to 12:30. That'll also be with me. Miss Gardner's live Zoom music class will be on Friday from noon to 12:30. And then Mr. Gustafson, will have Mrs. Zisman's class for music. And so each class throughout the week will have a live 30-minute class, and then they'll also have a 30-minute section of time where they're asked to specifically work on their seesaw assignment. It won't take them 30 minutes, or it shouldn't. We're going to try to start out and make things very simple and easy. And just like Mrs. Gardner said, we'll kind of make it a little bit more difficult as the year progresses and their skills continue to grow.
Ms. Gandhi, do you want to add anything about PE?
Sure, I'll give out our schedule also for kinder. But just like Miss Heatherly said, you know, PE, a lot of the beginning kindergarten lessons are going to be just getting to know each other and building community. And then we'll build on academic rigor as the year progresses. So Miss Burke's class will have a synchronous lesson with me on Mondays from noon to 12:30. Miss Dodson's class will have a synchronous lesson with me on Tuesdays from noon to 12:30. Miss Gardner's class will have a synchronous lesson with me on Thursdays from noon to 12:30. And then Miss Usman's class will be doing their PE lessons with Mr. Skagerberg.
Very good. Ms. Hastings, are you following the next question?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
Sometimes there could be some incidents like internet failures or Zoom app issues. Do we need to inform this to the class teacher to consider for attendance?
I'll take this one. I would say yes, just send the teacher an email as soon as you can. If you're having internet issues, that might not happen right away. But yes, just let the teacher know so that they're aware of why. If the student is absent for 2 days in a row, then the teachers are going to be reaching out, or one of us, and one of the faces you see here will be reaching out to find out what's going on. So if you communicate with us that you are having internet trouble or your child is sick and really shouldn't be attending school that day, just send the classroom teacher an email and they will mark attendance accordingly.
Okay, next question. Is the first day of school next week going to be a full day, or will it be a small taste of what to expect moving forward?
I can jump in on that one. So next week on Monday and Tuesday, you'll be meeting with your classroom teacher for an appointment, and you will get a link to sign up for that at a later time. Wednesday is undetermined at this point, and Thursday and Friday, as we said, we're splitting you in half based on your last name. So if your last name is A through L, you're going to join us on Thursday, and if your last name is M through Z, you are going to join us on Friday. The first day with all of us together is the 21st.
And are those Thursday and Friday days full days?
Great question, Mrs. Hastings. They are full days, but as we said, we're building up slowly to longer periods of time Zooming, but we will start the day bright and early, 8:30 a.m. With a whole class, if that is your last name. Woo!
I just wanted to clarify that Monday and Tuesday are our personal individual consultation appointments with students and their parents or child care providers, if those are the ones helping them that day. That's so that the teachers can get to know the students and make sure their technology is working. You will be given a link Saturday, late afternoon, early evening to sign up for a 15-minute appointment on Monday or Tuesday. And the only reason that we're waiting until then is because we use the same scheduling system that we did for our Saturday meet and greet appointments, and we didn't want anybody to be confused and try to Zoom on Saturday and show up on Monday. So we won't be sending out those appointment links until our event is over on Saturday.
Okay, the next one. I'm not sure if the question is for how teachers will monitor student activities or how parents should monitor student activities. So maybe we can touch on both.
So each day we will have a schedule, and we'll make it really clear to your child and to you kind of what the plan is for the day and also for the week. As we mentioned in our video, we'll have a class app, and that's something we'll send to you soon, and it'll show what your child's day will look like. And then during our morning meeting, we'll go over that each day, what they should be doing during the day. And the platform we use for work when we're not teaching live is Seesaw, and the assignments in there, they'll be posted, and once they complete an assignment, it'll kind of go away, like it'll be marked as completed. So it'll be really clear to them when they've done something they need to do. So we'll have a list of what exactly needs to be done each day.
And Ms. Burke, is it correct to say that when you have the individual appointments on Monday or Tuesday, that's when you'll be teaching the kids, how to find the Seesaw app, where to go, what to look for? So those are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we meet on Monday, it will be a Zoom meeting. And then during that time, we'll make sure that you're able to get onto Seesaw. You're going to need a login for that, and we'll give that to you prior to that meeting. So it'll be kind of a meeting to make sure you're seeing what you're supposed to see on Seesaw. So that way, as we start the week out, you should hopefully be somewhat comfortable getting on the app and seeing what you should do.
Thank you.
So I think it's okay if you, if the students send their activity responses or assignment responses without you helping, if you're not able to, if that was part of the question. In the spring, we had families who were able to help, and we also had families who were not, and the kids were able to respond to their teachers independently. So talk to your classroom teacher about what would work best for you all. Another one about schedule. I think for the schedule, it might be best if you wait for a picture from your classroom teacher about the schedule. I know that it's hard to keep track of. And so if they send you a schedule, and we'll talk about it on Saturday when we see you, that will be easier to remember. Okay, next question. Are our kids going to be connected to Zoom all school day, or are they going to do as well activities on Seesaw like they were doing toward the end of the school year?
Yeah, so there's going to be kind of a mixture of both. So they won't be on Zoom all day long. Starting out, everyone will get on Zoom at 8:30. So that will be a time you get on every day, and it'll be for 30 minutes. Then depending on their small group, you might stay on for about a 45-minute small group, or you'll get off and do activities on Seesaw and come back once it's your small group time. So they'll be only on Zoom starting out 2 times, once in the morning and then once for a small group, and then there'll be activities on Seesaw for them to complete.
Okay. In the back to school kindergarten video, it said there would be a class app created by the teacher that we should be checking regularly. Where do we get access to that app?
So when we call it an app, it's not an app that you can download in the App Store from your phone. We're going to be sending out, because each of us have our own that we're kind of controlling, we're going to be sending you the link to your child's personal class app. And then in there, you're going to be able to save, even though it's a link that's you can open if you have an iPhone in Safari or an Android phone in your web browser, then you'll be able to save it to the home screen, either on your device or also onto the child's iPad that they're getting from school, or their tablet. That way, the hope is when they open up that app, when it's their time for the Zoom meeting, instead of having to type in the Zoom address, they can just click on the button that says Zoom. And so hopefully that will make it easier for them to log in independently. In the class app, it will also have their schedule. It will also have all of the passwords to get on to Epic, how to get onto Dreambox. So it's kind of a hub of information with hopefully a lot of these questions, like schedule and how to log into things. But we will have to give you each your own classroom's code for that. And that will come in the next couple of days.
Okay, I can answer this next question. It's very exciting. How many kids are in each class? And right now we have about 20 in each class, and that is I have ever seen it at Elmonica. It is a great number for kindergarten. I know the classroom teachers are really excited about it. So yeah, 20 right now. And the lists change almost every day, but it shouldn't be much higher than that. Can we get a class list with names?
No, you will see the kids in Zoom meetings, and I'm sure if their parents have helped them with naming, you'll see the conventions of their names. But we do have a student directory that will be published later, but we need to give all families the opportunity to opt out of being part of a school directory. So you can get first and last names if you happen to be watching when your children are on Zoom with their classmates, or just wait until we have a published student directory. But we can't just give out a list. We have to go through some steps.
Okay, I think we have two similar questions, and they are in regards to parent participation and what the expectation is for parent participation.
So I can touch on that one. At the beginning of the year, the most important part is going to be helping your student get connected to our Zoom and other class apps that we use, like Seesaw, Epic, Dreambox. So at the beginning, participation is really surrounding helping your student get involved. We're working as a team to make things as efficient as we can to help our young friends connect with us. And so as time goes on and they become more efficient with using our systems, your participation might not be as essential, but at the beginning, helping get your students connected is your main job.
I would also like to add that the parent support is highly dependent on how your child may respond to sitting in front of a screen and engaging with their classmates and engaging with their teachers. Some children have a few minutes of stamina right now, and some could sit all day. So I think parent participation is really going to be based on your child's demeanor and being able to stick with things in Zoom classrooms and in class when things get hard. So some of it is going to just be highly dependent on that. And then we also know that we have students who haven't had a lot of exposure to using an iPad. So it's going to be a new and probably wondrous treat, and try to get them to stay on the app they're supposed to be on might be a challenge. And then I'm sure we have other kids who are highly proficient and could teach us a thing or two about how our iPads work. So that is the challenge of being a classroom teacher, and also the challenge of being a parent, that we will do our best to shoot for the middle and try to keep all of the kids engaged for an appropriate amount of time to help them learn.
I've got a question here. With the student count being 20, will they be attending the class altogether as the days go forward? And the answer is yes. After Thursday and Friday, so a week from Monday, the 21st, all 20 kids will be in their teacher's classroom together. If we get to the point where we return to school in a hybrid model, half of the kids will come on certain days and the other half will be the other days. They'll be in cohorts. Georgia, you have a question right there.
Sorry, I was scrolling back up to the top to make sure we didn't miss any. Did we touch on a QR code for Epic?
Yes, those will be provided soon.
Okay. Couldn't remember. How will social emotional skills be addressed with CDL? That is a great question, and I will try to answer that one. So I will be delivering the kindergarten lessons every Wednesday. Every other Wednesday, I should clarify. I will meet with each kindergarten class every Wednesday, and each time it may be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. On those 30-minute days, I'll be using the Sanford Harmony curriculum, and I'll be working closely with the classroom teacher to make sure that those lessons are tailored to what her class needs. And they will cover diversity and inclusion, communication, peer relationships, basically many things that fall under the social emotional umbrella, and help the students be ready to learn, because a lot of times we have to focus on those lessons before they can be ready to do anything in the academic world. So if you have needs or concerns, you can email me. If there are particular lessons you would like to see taught, you can email me. Our school counselor also, Mrs. Kenyon, will be running individual and small group lessons as we learn of those needs. So keep your classroom teacher in the loop, email me. We're all here and ready to support in any way we can.
I think in addition to those specific lessons, kindergarten team, do you guys want to talk about some of your bold and awesome ideas that you talked about in the video about opportunities for kids to interact with each other to kind of get that virtual play group going?
I could take this one. So yeah, part of our district's goal is to incorporate play into the kindergarten day, as you saw in the video. And so part of that will be in our small groups. There'll be play groups. And so what that means is kids will have an opportunity to bring something that they're interested in and play with it and interact with their peers on Zoom. And so we'll introduce that to the kids over the coming weeks. But just, I think last year in the spring, some feedback we got was how much that the kids missed having peer-to-peer interactions and what they normally get in the classroom. And so our goal is to build that in as much as possible, even though we won't be side by side. But we also think that being in a small group will allow for kids to become a little bit more comfortable with a few friends and getting to know each other's names, and hopefully grouping kids by similar interests, so that if somebody really likes playing with blocks, they're with another friend who likes to play with blocks, for example. So.
Okay, keep going.
Go ahead.
Attendance will be done for the kids daily in the morning as well as after the school day. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Callie, did you want to?
Just that attendance is pretty basic. It's participation in the morning or the afternoon, and it could be attending a Zoom meeting. It could also be attending by completing work and turning it into the teacher, by attending a small group. So there's lots of different ways to participate. We just want to make sure that kids are coming as frequently and as often as possible. The only way to maximize the learning is to take advantage of every single opportunity that the teachers provide for the students between 8:30 and 2:30. That is school time. There'll be a variety of things to do. There'll be time off and time on, but committing to being engaged in school between 8:30 and 2:30 is what we are expecting.
Okay, how many kids will be in each small group?
There should be about 5 kids per small group, depending on how many kids are in the class and how it gets split up.
Are there any other specials for kindergartners besides music and PE?
We will also have our librarian coming once a week for about half an hour. And her time with each classroom will be different. So you'll get to see that when you download the class app.
In a normal year, Miss Alt has been our technology instructional assistant and held classes as well. However, she will be supporting a specific grade level this year, and the entire day is technology driven. So we didn't feel that it was necessary to have a special technology class for this particular school year. Hopefully next year that will change, and there will be some instruction in technology as a special in first grade.
They're going to receive plenty of technology this year.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great segue into our next question. Will you provide best practices list for technology use to kids and parents?
That's a great question. I hope I can answer this in the way that it was intended. On each of our class apps, we have a list of expectations that we have for our Zoom practices. So you can refer to that when we send it out in the next few days about behaviors that are expected when we're Zooming as a class. Otherwise, for Seesaw and Epic and other apps, those are questions that maybe as time goes on, and if you have any specifics about best practices for those, but at the beginning, we're just focusing on getting everyone involved. And if you have any problems that arise, please let your classroom teacher know.
I think we're caught up. Mr. Nelson, did you see any others? Oh, one more. If our child is at a daycare provider that has in-person art, movement, and music incorporated into their program, does our child need to do the Elmonica PE music assignments?
I can talk a little bit about that, and then I'm sure Mrs. McNamee has something to add too. So as far as PE goes, our lessons are not only movement. So we as a district elementary PE team are creating a curriculum that's going to help teach students how to be how to have physical literacy. So not only are they going to be moving, but they're going to be learning about how to move and what that movement does for their bodies. We want to give them tools that they can use to be active, not just in the sense of out going for a walk or riding your bike after school, but a purposeful activity that they can do that'll help develop gross motor skills, fine motor skills. We want to give them the tools that they can use to go out and do that outside of school so that they can be independent movers as well. So PE for us is not just about movement, it's about building their physical literacy that they can hopefully use throughout their lifetime to stay healthy.
I'd love to add to what Ms. Gandhi said. Music is a great opportunity for your student to experience music, but also be together with their classmates, experiencing that joint shared experience. It also builds rapport with us as their teacher. As PE and music teachers, we see these children from kindergarten through their whole career at Elmonica Elementary School. And so building that rapport together is very important. In addition to that, we also will be taking attendance in those Zoom classes. So participating is important. And also we are grading those assignments that we push out through Seesaw. So it's very academic, just like school normally would be. So I would encourage you to make sure that your students are attending just like they would be in a regular school year.
Ms. DeGandhi and Ms. Heatherly, would you mind mentioning what it is that you put on students' report cards at the semesters that can show parents that children are gaining proficiency in physical literacy and music literacy?
Yeah, so for PE, we have learning targets that we are going to be teaching to. Those include physical skills, cognitive skills that focus on fitness and nutrition, and then the social emotional skills that kids can learn through being active with their peers. And so every lesson that we teach will be linked to one of those targets, and then we use assessments towards those targets for grading and report cards. So we will be scoring the report cards using the assessments that we have that are linked to those specific targets.
And music follows the same Beaverton School District music targets. We also teach to the national standards. So daycare might be providing some great opportunities, but you don't want to miss out on a chance to explore these music classes. We encourage you to be there.
Thank you.
We did have one more question come in.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to buy anything like materials, books, pencils? If so, where do we find the list?
That's a great question. On Elmonica, or Beaverton School District has a website, and listed under schools, you will find Elmonica. Under Elmonica, there's a few tabs across the top. One of them is, I want to say it's about us, but there is a school supply list that is listed on our webpage. It has some basic supplies that kids might need from home and that are listed there already. But if one of the classroom teachers wouldn't mind, what tools do students need at home? Who is next?
I think it's me.
Okay.
So I think that our goal is to have, as authentic of a school experience as possible. And so having some of those familiar tools that they might have in the classroom would be great, because we will be asking them to utilize them. So things like crayons or markers, paper, because we will be asking them to write and draw. And just a workspace where they can be in maybe a quiet space where they can have some headphones. Earbuds can be helpful, especially because they often have a microphone, but any type of headphone can kind of help so that they can clearly hear and that we can clearly hear them, because they will be using their device. And especially if you have more than one child, it can be really helpful to kind of not have all the sounds going at once. Did I miss anything? Paper, writing utensils, headphones?
Will they need anything that we don't have on the list right now, like scissors? Will you be asking them to use scissors, or anything for art? Or are we providing some art?
Yeah, we're providing some supplies, and anything that is not listed, we will get to you. So I think that anything that's listed right now is at least what we're starting with.
There's also this Thursday, we have some, what the school district is calling success kits available. We don't have enough for every child in our school, but we do have enough that if you're interested, it comes with some of those basics. And that is also listed on our school website as well. But we have a pickup time on Thursday between, Mr. Nelson, 2 and 4, is that right? Yes. So long as we only have 200 kits available, but if it's something that you need, we are more than happy to supply the student success kits for families who need one.
In addition to those materials you might have at home already, or the few things the teachers mentioned grabbing, we also are putting together a big bag of stuff for the kids to receive on Saturday. We also can connect with you if you're not able to come on Saturday. It is the kids will be very excited to see it. It does include a whiteboard, so don't buy one of those. And what was the other thing that I saw? I think we don't have scissors, but we have glue sticks here, so you don't have to buy glue sticks. But yeah, we're gonna try to have everything they would need in the bags that you are receiving on Saturday. I think that's the end of.
I think that is. So we're coming to a close. We have a few minutes for our specialist to take a break before we move on to first grade. So I would like to thank all of the teachers who are here answering questions today. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with our new kindergarten families. And I look forward to meeting many of you on Saturday. Mr. Nelson, myself, and many of the people in front of you will be here. We will direct you to the back of the school to find your classroom teacher, so you have a few minutes to say hello. Please don't forget to wear masks and stay as a family group. I don't want to turn into the physical distance police and break up all the groups of parents who are chatting. So please be super respectful of each other's space, and we look forward to meeting you and all the exciting little things that the kindergarten teachers have put together for our kiddos on Saturday. It's going to be great, and it'll be beautiful and sunshine, and the air will be clear and fresh, right? Okay, it's time to say goodbye. So parents, thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate your time.